I'm Jim from EPAS Performance. We're here to show you the kit for the 53 through 56 Ford F100. The kit consists of all the adapters, all of the steering shafts, the electric motor, and ECU. Now I'm going to go ahead and pull the steering column out and show you where we need to start cutting. Now that the steering gear and steering column are out of the truck, we're going to go ahead and take the outer half of the steering column and make our first cut. And our first cut is at 16 3/4 inches up. Our next cut is going to be 6 5/8, and then this piece is going to get removed. Next, we'll need to take the upper half of the column and drill a 1/2 inch hole. The 1/2 inch hole will be 3 1/2 inches up. Next, the shifter shaft will have to get modified to accommodate the electric motor after it's installed. This part you will have to do on your own. The next part we need to do is cut the inner shaft on the steering box. From this edge here, we have 15 inches up. It needs to be cut, and then a coupler needs to be welded onto the shaft. Now we're going to go ahead and assemble the motor. We have the steering column adapter for the front of the motor. That goes on. The 2 Allens. And then we're going to go ahead and put the front adapter on. And there's 3 set screws. Now we're going to go ahead and install the steering column onto the steering box, and then we're going to put this assembly into the electric motor. Now we're going to go ahead and assemble the upper half of the column. We're going to take the supplied steering shaft and install it into this coupler. Tighten the 2 set screws. Once that is done, we're going to go ahead and take our upper half of the column and install it into the aluminum coupler. And you'll want to keep this at 12 o'clock position to the hole for the shifter. And then tighten a set screw. Next, we'll go ahead and put the shift shaft on the column. Now it's time to install the shift shaft and the shifter stalk. What we do is slide this in here, and then there's a locating hole. And then we'll install the shifter stalk. And the roll pin. We're ready to install the steering column into the vehicle. Now that we've installed the steering column, we went ahead and put it through the floor and put 1 bolt in the steering gear. We've used a zip tie in the column clamp in order to hold this up to achieve the bolt in the steering gear. Now we'll cut this off and assemble this column clamp. Now that the column clamp is tight, we're going to go ahead and move down to the steering gear, tighten all of that up in the steering box. Go ahead and hook up our shift rods. We're going to mount our floor plate, steering wheel, and then we're going to move on. Now that we've got that finished, we're going to go ahead and install the ECU. The ECU consists of battery power, steering sensor, potentiometer for steering feedback, and switched power. Now we're going to need to go into the dashboard and find a good spot in order to mount this. Now that the ECU is installed and wired, the battery's hooked up, we're going to go ahead and check the ignition, make sure we hear the click from the ECU. Once we hear that, we're going to take it for a test drive, clock the steering wheel, and then after that, you should be ready to go. Let's wait for the click. There you go. It's doing good. Thank you for watching our videos.